Hey all, Hibber here. So today we are taking out the Snowrunner game again and the good old trusty 110 Defender. And today we're going to do some rock climbing, because this is probably one of the most fun things you can do in this game here. And it's even more fun if you pick some of the smaller cars, like the scouts in the game, because they just allow much more refined, movement really, and that's what makes rock climbing fun. Like the bigger cars and trucks in this game here, they just tend to, just drive over rocks as soon as they get big enough. While the scouts, it's actually quite difficult. So let's have a look at this here in Snowrunner. And just like any other car game out there, like Snowrunner is about finesse and knowing everything about the game. It's about setting yourself up for success. And it's not about driving fast down a road like I'm doing here, because it actually gets very, very difficult in this game here because the physics aren't really made for going fast. In this game, there's nothing about beating lap times or overtaking opponents. It's all about planning whatever it is that you are trying to do. For example here, first we have to cross some mud. So of course we're going to put it in 4-wheel drive, but we're not going to actually activate the diff lock yet, because it's really hard to steer. Well, it's not really hard, but it makes it harder to steer when you got that thing engaged. And these are the things you need to think about before you actually start on your adventure, because from what you can see at the beginning of the video here, if you rush things, or if you lack patience, you have to be patient. Look here, I'm all the way down in the lowest range gear there is. And that's how you negotiate these things here. And like I said, the scouts are the most fun doing this in, because even the smallest boulder, like you can tell, is quite a bit of a challenge here for these cars. And, I know for a fact that I've got this car high enough so I can just, don't really worry about these rocks. But, if it was in real life, I probably would try not to get that many of them under my car. The game is a real grind, because it can take you, a whole evening to negotiate one difficult bog hole, for example. There's lots of challenge, and like I said, the refinement and the finesse that you put into your controller inputs are what makes or breaks you in this game here. This game is, like I said, all about planning every move and knowing exactly like the clearance of your 4-wheel drive here. Because if you don't know that, you're going to get damaged, and damage is, a big no-no out here, because that usually means you can't make it home. I like to have a car game like this that's not about racing, actually. It's more about maneuvering and, thinking before you act, basically. And like I said, rock climbing is probably the most fun you can have in this game. And like, you can have a lot of fun in this game here, especially if you play multiplayer, where you can help each other, like winch each other through very difficult parts of the terrain. But if you're playing alone, then I suggest that you find a difficult mountain and you try to, recover a car like I'm doing here. And once you get into, these rock climbing sessions here, they can be very, very tricky. And if you muck it up, chances are you're going to roll your car and you're going to have to start all over again. And that can be, a bit of a trek if it's a long drive to where you found your nice little descent here. And that's where the grind comes in this game here. Like, it's a very grindy game, and that's what makes it fun. I like how the physics are fairly realistic. I mean, they're by no means like super realistic, and I would know for certain, but they're good enough. And you can pull off stuff that you would also be able to pull off in real life. For example, turning 4-wheel drive off if you need to wheel spin a little bit or move the front faster. And like I said, all the intricacies of the 4-wheel drive and the diff locks and the handbrake, also very, very important. The low range gearbox, and of course the reverse gear. And one thing I don't like in this game is that the reverse gear is not low range. It's still like the normal range. So every time you chuck it in reverse, the car is like flying. So you really have to be careful with that. But other than that, I think Snowrunner is pretty close to, catching that real 4-wheel drive spirit. And that's why I enjoy this game so much. I'm really having a great time playing it, and like I said, in multiplayer it's even more amusing to play. Like, you can really have some good times. So again, if you haven't tried this game yet, please give it a shot, because it is amazing, especially if you have any sort of interest in cars. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.